Hello students, welcome you all. So today we are going to start a new chapter, that is biological classification. In the first chapter we have covered about the classification, what are the different methods of classification, what are the rules for that one. So here why there is a need of classification, because diversity is more. So for that what is required? It is required that there should be a proper scientific classification, and that scientific classification based on what? Based on the similarities and dissimilarity of an organism, whether it is a plant as well as animals or the microorganism. So let's start with the first topic about the classification. So different scientists came forward for giving the classification, but before what happens, Aristotle, one of the scientists, and we know that Aristotle was the father of biology as well as the zoology. Fine. So Aristotle came with his ideas that he has classified the organisms which are present on this earth in plants as well as animals. Now here what happens, before that there was no other aspect. So on the basis of morphological character, so this classification is what? On the basis of morphological character, Aristotle has classified organism into plants as well as animals. Fine. So in plants, again they have given classification: herbs, shrubs and trees. And this classification is based on what? Based on the stems or based on the height. The plant which are very shorter in height or the stems are very weak, they have classified as a herbs, and then he has classified into shrub those who are having some medium height, as well as now the branching has started, as well as the stems somehow stronger as compared to the herbs. Now the third one is the tree. Tree is what? The now stem will become more thicker or more woody, and the height will be more. So on the basis of, what was the basis here? Basis was the height as well as the stem. These are the basis for the classification in herbs, shrubs and trees. Along with this, he has also classified animals on the basis of what? On the basis of RBC. RBC is what? Red blood cell. Those animals having the red color blood, they have classified into enema as well as anema. Now memorize this thing, E as well as A. A means absent. Okay, this memorized as A is absent. It means that RBC is absent here. In those animals where RBC is absent, those are known as enema, and those organisms or those animal in which RBC is present, this is known as enema. And we know that E relates to what? Something true, like for example eukaryotes, true nucleus, as well as we are doing, we will do the eubacteria. So U relates to what? Something is present, and A relates to what? Something is absent. On the basis of these things, they have classified the animals into enema and anema. Fine. So these are the characters. Now again he has classified animals into the water dwellers, land dwellers as well as air dwellers. It means that those animals which are living in water and those animals which are living on the land as well as on air. So this classification is based on what? This classification is based on habitat. Fine. So all these classification which you are observing here, these are the morphological. It means by the eyes you can observe the character. They have not taken any character in their account which are important. Later on all these studies will come forward, but first time the credit goes to Aristotle. At least he has started some classification so that it will be easier. Now if you will see, during the 16th to 17th century, there was a invention of microscope. So due to the invention of microscope, what happened? Due to the invention of microscope, the people came to know that there is something related to cell. But before that, they don't know about the cell or the, nowadays we are following the 5 kingdom classification. So we know about the unicellular, we know about the multicellular, prokaryotic, eukaryotic. How? Because now we are observing in the microscope, but before that they were not aware about these things. So after the invention of microscope, one scientist came, Robert Hooke. We have heard about the scientist Robert Hooke. In 1665, what he has done? He has discovered the cell. So after the discovery of cell in 1665, what happened? there will be a need of another classification. So now the scientists came to know that how some of the organisms are having different types of cells. So how we can classify? There is a need of other classification. So another scientist came, Linnaeus. We know that Linnaeus is very, very important, and Linnaeus was also the father of what? Modern taxonomy. And taxonomy is what? Classification. Whenever we are going for the classification, so it was given by the Carolus Linnaeus. He has also given the what? Binomial nomenclature. Fine. So in this Linnaeus came here and he has given two kingdom classification in 1758. Students, see, you have to memorize all these things. Which scientist has given which kingdom of classification, because we have to learn some more kingdom of classification here. So in 1758, Linnaeus gave the two kingdom classification. It means two kingdom. He has divided all the organisms again into plant kingdom as well as animal kingdom. But now something related to scientific term, because now we know about the cell. Cell is what? Cell can be unicellular as well as multicellular. Cell can be prokaryotic as well as eukaryotic. And we know the characteristics of prokaryotic is what? Prokaryotic are the lower one. Fine. So here what is required? Those who are not having cell wall. So on the basis of this thing, on the basis of the cell wall, Linnaeus classified the organism into plant as well as animal, and we know that plants having what? Cell wall is present. Cell wall is present. While in case of Animalia, cell wall is absent. We all know, but here he has not given us very scientific thing, or not very clear about the other organism. There are some merits. What was the merit? Merit was that he has taken into the consideration of cell wall, okay, which is very scientific. But along with this, he has not considered about some more organism. Why? Because maybe in case of plantae, those who are having cell wall, it comes under this. There are so many organisms which are not should be in the plantae. Same thing in case of Animalia, which has been cleared by the 5 kingdom classification. Fine. So up to here what we have concluded, that on the basis of cell, he has classified into plantae and Animalia. If you see some characteristics of plant, what was the characteristics of plant? They are autotrophic in nature. Heterotrophic are animals are heterotrophic in nature. If we talk about the plantae, as we have done in the first chapter, the characteristics of living organism. So plantae are the what? They are the less concerned about the stimulus, or in case of animals, they are more sensitive for the stimulus. So these are some important characteristics of the plantae and Animalia. Now every classification has some merit also and some demerit also. So merit is that they have considered some more important characteristics. And what was the demerits? I have mentioned it here. Prokaryotic and eukaryotic. What were the prokaryotic? Those who are having those who are lower organisms. For example, bacteria and cyanobacteria. In the next lecture, you will come to know that what are the characteristics of bacteria and what are the characteristics of cyanobacteria. So what they have done, they have classified, or they have kept both the prokaryotic and eukaryotic into the same category. While now during this time we know that both are the different things. Bacteria will come under what? Will come under the prokaryotic according to the 5 kingdom classification, and eukaryotic, these plants will come under the eukaryotic, which are multicellular and having proper cell wall. So on this basis, what happens? They have kept both the organism into the same kingdom. Same thing in the next point, unicellular and multicellular. Now we know that what is unicellular? Having one cell body, and here multicellular. So examples are Chlamydomonas and Spirogyra. Chlamydomonas is a unicellular and the Spirogyra is a multicellular. Again, what he has done, he has classified, or he has kept both these organisms into the same kingdom. Fine, which should be in the different one. And the third one is the autotrophic and heterotrophic. And we know that the plants are always autotrophic and fungi are heterotrophic. If you will take the consideration of fungi, we know that what type of heterotrophic? It can be of different type, parasitic, saprophytic. So fungi are the saprophytic mode of nutrition. So but according to Linnaeus, what they have kept? Again, they have kept both the green plants and fungi into the plant Plantae only. Why? Because they are having cell wall. On the basis of cell wall they have classified, but they have not taken into the consideration about the important character of these organisms. That's why this theory or this kingdom has not been followed more in the later stages. So another thing about one important example is Euglena. If you will see the characteristics of Euglena, you know about it's a unicellular organism. This Euglena act as a what? Mixotropic. What is the meaning of mixotropic? Means that it will act as a autotrophic as well as heterotrophic, because now we have classified into the same kingdom, but we know that Euglena should be in a different category. Here we have given the kingdom according to their cell wall, but we have not considered. It means that Linnaeus has not considered that where this Euglena should go. Why? Because in the presence of sunlight it will act as a autotrophic, but in absence of sunlight what happens? It will act as a heterotrophic. Fine. So this mode of nutrition is a mixotrophic nutrition. So Linnaeus was not able to classify this Euglena into a separate group, and he has classified this Euglena as a same kingdom. Fine. So these are some demerits which should be clear, and this kingdom classification will be further proceeded by the three kingdom classification. In three kingdom classification, so now we will start with the three kingdom classification. As we have discussed in the two kingdom classification, what was the demerit? That they have not taken the account of the different characteristics like prokaryotic, eukaryotic, unicellular, multicellular, as well as the Euglena. They were not able to keep this Euglena in a proper kingdom because the characteristics are different thing. So here in that problem will be sorted out by the three kingdom classification. In three kingdom classification, another scientist came, Ernest Haeckel, in 1866. What he has done, he has added one more kingdom, that is Protista. Why he has added Protista? Because due to the lower microorganism. What? Due to the lower microorganism, for example, that amoeba, paramecium, all Euglena, all these are the simple or the lower microorganisms. So they have included all these one into this Protista, as well as they kept some bacteria also here, as well as they have kept some more unicellular organism in this Protista. Fine. So here now he has made one more kingdom which will satisfy the characteristics of Euglena, and he said that in this kingdom what will happen, all the microorganism will come, and as well as the Plantae and Animalia kingdom will be the constant one. See, from the two kingdom classification up to the five kingdom classification, Plantae and Animalia kingdom will remain same. Only there will be addition of more kingdom according to the need. Fine. So here we have done the three kingdom classification. Again I have said some merits are there as well as some demerits. So what is the demerit now? As he has kept the paramecium, Euglena as well as bacteria. So now these days we know that there is a different structure of Euglena as well as of bacteria. So after that, due to the invention of the electron microscope, okay, before that there was a light microscope, now there is a discovery of one more microscope, electron microscope. So the magnification power of this microscope is very high. So the scientists now able to compare the structure of the bacteria. If you will compare the structure of bacteria, so there will be a no nucleus, and if you compare with the Euglena, fine. So on the basis of prokaryote and eukaryote, or the eukaryote, what happens? All the bacteria will come under the prokaryote. Pro means primitive, karyote be related to nucleus. Those nucleus which are of primitive type, or we can say there is no nucleus. Instead of nucleus there will be a nucleus. While in case of eukaryote, what happens? There will be a true nucleus, and we know that the Euglena comes under what? It comes under the eukaryote. Now what happened in the three kingdom classification? Ernest Haeckel kept both the bacteria as well as this Euglena into the same kingdom, that is Protista. So this is not the fine one. After the electron microscope, what we have concluded that it should be in the different kingdom. So there is a need of another kingdom. What is that? four kingdom classification. Fine. So this importance of four kingdom classification is what? We can classify the bacteria as well, because the structure of bacteria is different from other organisms. So they have added one more kingdom. What is it? Monera. Now in this Monera, what they have done? In Monera they kept all the bacteria here in this first kingdom, that is Monera. And Protista, we know that what they have done, they have kept some organism like Euglinum. Fine. And Plantae, same. Animalia, same. And we know the characteristics of plant as well as Animalia on the basis of still up to the four kingdom classification. They have classified, or they have kept the fungi. Now the problem is fungi. We have classified all the organism, bacteria, but what about the fungi? We know that fungi is somehow similar to the character of plant. In four kingdom classification, Copeland given this four kingdom classification. So what he did, he kept this fungi in the Plantae. Why? Because fungi is having some cell wall. In the two kingdom classification as well as up to four kingdom classification, they assume that the structure of fungi is somehow similar to the plant. But if you compare this fungi with the plant, what happens? Both are having, what are the similarity between plant as well as fungi? Both are the multicellular. Fine. This is a similarity. Second similarity between the Plantae and fungi is what? They are having heterotrophic mode of nutrition, because it means that they are taking nutrition from the other organism. Now, the question arises that heterotrophic mode of nutrition can be of two types or three types. What are they? We can say holozoic, or it can be parasitic, or it can be saprotrophic. So now if you see the mode of nutrition of fungi, it is saprotrophic mode of nutrition. It means that it is taking its nutrition from the dead and decaying organism. So we cannot keep this organism where? Into this kingdom Plantae. There is a need of another kingdom. That's why R.H. Whitaker. Okay, so R.H. Whitaker in 1969 gave the five kingdom classification. In this kingdom, what he has done? He has added one more kingdom. What is? Fungi. In this fungi, what will happen? All the characters are same related to plant, but instead of that, there will be a different mode of nutrition. So it will this fungi will get its place in terms of fungi kingdom. So now we are having five kingdom classification, and this kingdom five kingdom classification is we can say very fine or very good, and we are following this kingdom of classification only. And Monera, we know now it's very clear that how we have classified the five kingdom classification. So what are the different criteria for this five kingdom classification? Up to here, what they have done, they have observed the superficial characters. Okay. Later on, as after the two kingdom classification, slowly they have taken consideration of some more characters, and up to the five kingdom classification, they have taken the consideration of more character. For example, I have mentioned that cell structure, body organization, mode of nutrition, reproduction, phylogenetic relationship. So along with all these characters, they have considered these important characteristics. In your NCERT, it is given these criteria, and you must know this different criteria. So what is the meaning of cell structure? Whenever we are talking about the cell structure, it means that what this organism made up of what type of cell. For example, whether it is a prokaryotic or whether it is a eukaryotic. So if you will see the five kingdom classification, it will start from the lower to higher. In the lower organism, this one is a less complicated. As the evolution takes place, okay, as the evolution takes place, what will happen? The organisms will become more complicated. That's why we human beings or we animals are more complicated as compared to the bacteria, because there will be some changes, and these gradual changes will form our body more complicated. So here our first basis was the cell structure, whether the cell is prokaryotic or whether cell is a eukaryotic. So if you will see the lowest one, Monera, in the Monera we are taking now which type of organism? Bacteria, and bacteria are what? The prokaryotes. Fine. As we are moving towards the Protista, what will happen? There will be some modernization, there will be some increase of character, and due to this, what will happen? it will form the eukaryotic as we are moving towards the animalia. So what is cell structure? Prokaryotic as well as eukaryotic. Second criteria is body organization, how the body looks like. For example, whether it is a unicellular or it is a multicellular. If body is unicellular, it means that it is made up of only one cell, and if it is a multicellular, it forms of many cells. Now if you will compare these body organization, in case of Monera, what type of body organization will be there? The lowest one, or we can say there will be a what? No such body organization. But as we are moving towards the Protista, Fungi, Plantae, Animalia, what will happen? They will become the more and more complicated. In case of Animalia, we are multicellular. Plantae, they are also multicellular. Fine. And fungi, they are also multicellular. But this Protista is what? It is a unicellular. But Monera, and we know that there is no nucleus, means that there will be no proper cellular structure. Fine. So third one is mode of nutrition, how the organism taking their nutrition. It can be autotrophic as well as heterotrophic. Autotrophic, those who are synthesizing their own food. Heterotrophic, those who are dependent on the other. And heterotrophic divided into three parts: parasitic, saprophytic as well as the holozoid. Fine. So as we are moving towards the Animalia, what will happen? We are becoming the heterotrophic, and in the lower organism the mode of nutrition is autotrophic. Fine. In the next table, I will explain you how there will be evolution, and due to this evolution, what will happen? There will be formation of more complicated structure. Third one is, another one is the reproduction. How the reproduction takes place. As we are moving, same thing as we are moving towards the higher group, what will happen? There will be the sexual mode of reproduction, and the lower one there will be asexual mode of reproduction. Fine. And very important is that phylogenetic relationship. What is the meaning of phylogenetic relationship? How these are connected with their ancestor. We know that life originates from the one cell. Earlier there was only bacteria. There, after some changes, what will happen? There will be some formation, or there will be some increase of character. Due to this, now we are having well structured. That's why we comes under the Animalia, due to our good characters, or the we can say some advanced characters. So this relationship is what? Phylogenetic relationship, how we are related to the other organism, and how this later organism is connected to the previous one. Right? So these things should be in the consideration for any classification. For any classification, if we are not considering these criteria, what happens? It should not be good. That's why we are saying that 5 kingdom classification is fine classification, because it is considering all these characters which are very, very important. Fine. Up to here we have done 5 kingdom classification, but there will be a 6th kingdom classification. We will study in the 6th kingdom classification. Nothing is changed. Only what they have done, they have classified into 3 domains. Okay. So here I will show you the 6th kingdom classification. So now the 6th kingdom classification. Fine. So in 5 kingdom classification, we have classified into 5 kingdom. In 6th kingdom, what will happen? There will be addition of what? There will be addition of one more kingdom. But here what Carl Woese has done? So who has given the 6th kingdom classification? Carl Woese in 1990. So he has given according to the 3 domain system. What they have done? They have classified, or they have split the Monera kingdom, which we have done in the 5 kingdom classification. So it has split this Monera into 2 parts. What are they? Archaebacteria as well as bacteria, or Archaebacteria or the Eubacteria. So here what he has done, he has given 3 domain system: Archaebacteria and Eukarya. Now one by one we will understand what is Archae. Archae means something old, archaeology, fine, like this. So Archae means old one, old bacteria, and bacteria is something related to the new one. So this Archae given name Archaebacteria. These bacteria are the old bacteria, and the second one he has given bacteria. These are the true bacteria. So whenever we are using word true, so we are using U. So in this bacteria, again another kingdom he has given Eubacteria. Fine. And the third domain which he has given Eukarya. U means true, Karya means nucleus. Fine. So now from here what will happen? The nucleus will be true one. So whose kingdom, in which kingdom the nucleus will be same? From the Protista, fungi, plantae, and animalia. And we have done all these kingdom in the 5 kingdom classification. So we can say in conclusion, what Carl Woese has done, he has given 3 domain system, and here he has added one more thing, so that the Monera divided into 2 parts, Archaebacteria and Eubacteria. If you count from here, we are having 6 kingdom of classification. Fine. And in the later lecture, we will come to know that what is Archaebacteria, why these are the primitive forms. It means that they are more resistant. Eubacteria, what is the different structure of bacteria. We will discuss all about it in the next lecture. Fine. Now up to here I have explained to you the different classification. Now if you will see that we have broadly classified these classification into 3 types. What are they? Natural, artificial system of classification, natural system of classification, first one artificial system of classification, second one is natural system of classification, and third one phylogenetic system of classification. So what is artificial? When we are considering only the superficial character or only the morphological character, so this will be the artificial. For example, the Aristotle, that classification will come under the artificial. 2 kingdom classification, it will come under the artificial. What is natural? When we are considering more and more characters. Okay, like this in case of 4 kingdom, 5 kingdom, what we are doing? We are considering more character, so it will come under the natural classification. And phylogenetic is what? When we are along with this character, what we are considering? We are considering the ancestor relationship of the organism with the previous one. This will come under phylogenetic relationship. So in the next lecture again we will study about these different type of classification. Fine. And what are the different methods to observe these things. Now I have drawn one diagram here. If you can see here how the things are changing as the evolution takes place. So this is the direction. For example, if I say direction is what? From lower to higher. This is the direction of evolution. If you will compare with the lower one, or we can say lower organism, we will consider 3 characters. What are they? Complexity of cell, complexity of organism, and mode of nutrition. As I have said that as we are moving from lower to higher one, what will happen? There will be changes in character, there will be complexity in the character, in the organism. So here, what type of complexity of cell? Here we are talking about the cell, not about the organism. So on the basis of cell, it can be prokaryotic and eukaryotic. Prokaryotic means primitive nucleus, eukaryotic means true nucleus. So here I have given prokaryotic and eukaryotes. Prokaryotes are the older one and eukaryotes are the somehow advanced form. So which kingdom will come under which complexity? Here we will divide it. Monera, as I have said, all the bacteria. Bacteria are the example of what? Bacteria are the example of Monera, and that's why we are saying bacteria are prokaryotes. Fine. As we are moving upward, what we are observing? The cell will become advanced, and this advancement is what? Now they will become eukaryotes. Along with this, what will happen? Organism will also get complex. So what is the complexity of organism? Whether it is a unicellular or multicellular. After this one, what will happen? Body will organize here. So on the basis of the organism, we have classified into unicellular and multicellular. Those who are having one cell, or we can say unicellular, and those are having multi-cells, those are known as multicellular. So in this unicellular, what we are classifying? We are classifying the Protista. Protista is what? All the unicellular organism. For example, what are they? Amoeba, Paramecium, Euglena, all they come under the Protista. So if you will consider the characteristics of these organisms, they are what? They are eukaryotes as well as they are unicellular. Cell is complex in form of eukaryotes and they are unicellular. Again, as we are moving upwards, what will happen? We are considering the another character, that is mode of nutrition. Whether it is a autotrophic, whether it is a heterotrophic. Fine. So on the basis of mode of nutrition, we have classified the kingdom. Up to here we have done Monera, then Protista, then we will do the another kingdom. So what will be the criteria? Now the kingdom which will come here, it will be the multicellular. Body or the organism get more complex. So if you will compare all these kingdom, plantae, fungi, animalia, what are they? They are the examples of multicellular organism. And what will be the mode of nutrition here? If you see the mode of nutrition in case of plant, we all know they are autotrophs. What are they? They are autotrophs. Now if you will see the mode of nutrition here, they are heterotrophs. What are they? Heterotrophs. If you compare the mode of nutrition of Animalia kingdom, it is heterotroph. But here again we have classified both these things in a separate. Why? Because this mode of nutrition are same, but in case of fungi it is a saprotroph. What are they? They are saprotrophs. Why? Because they act on or they take their nutrition from the dead and decaying organism, and we heterotrophs are the holozoic mode of nutrition. So we from this diagram we have concluded that as we are moving upward, the complexity will be more, and along with this we have done the characteristics of the Monera. They are we can say only they are prokaryote. Okay, Monera is always prokaryote, Protista is always unicellular eukaryotes, and plantae, fungi, animalia, they are multicellular organism. Fine, that much is clear about the whole classification system, how we have categorized. So in the another table I will explain you the sum of all these things, how we have summed the different characters on the different kingdom. Fine. So now we will see the this table in which we will sum up all the things which we have covered till now. Okay, so these are some characters. Characters of what? Characters of different kingdoms. These are the 5 kingdoms: Monera, Protista, Fungi, Plantae and Animalia. In front of you we will complete this table here. Cell type. If you will compare the cell type of all these kingdoms, so what we have done? Prokaryotic or eukaryotic. So this cell type in case of Monera, it will be prokaryotic. Fine. And from here what will happen? There will be eukaryotic. So Protista is what? U. True nucleus is there. Fungi is U. Okay, eukaryotic. Plantae is also eukaryotic, and Animalia is also eukaryotic. Fine. Now the cell wall. We know about the cell wall present where? In the case of plant as well as fungi. In case of Monera, maybe some cell wall is present here. Fine. But in case of Protista, it may be present or it may be absent. The cell wall which is present here made up of peptidoglycan in case of Monera, and in case of Protista it may be present or it may be absent. In case of fungi, the cell wall is present, and that things we will say chitin. What type of it is made up of? Chitin is present like a cell wall. In case of Plantae again, whether it is cell wall, yes, cell wall is present here. We know about the cellulose. It is made up of cellulosic membrane. And in case of Animalia, the cell wall is absent. Fine. In case of nuclear membrane, this character if you will compare in all the kingdom, we know Monera are the prokaryotic. Prokaryotic are those who are not having distinct nucleus. If there will be no nucleus, so there will be no nuclear membrane. It is correlated everything. So no nucleus, it means that nuclear membrane is absent. From here what will happen? There will be distinct nucleus. So what will happen? Nuclear membrane will be present in all other 4 kingdoms. Fine. Now the third one, body organization. What is the meaning of body organization? Whether it is a unicellular or multicellular. So here what you are seeing, from the Monera if you start, it will be the cellular structure, or we can say unicellular, only one cellular. Fine. As we are moving towards the Protista, again it's a cellular. Fine. Now as we are moving toward the fungi, plantae and Animalia, what will happen? There will be some change, or it will form the multicellular. What are they? Multicellular. But again there is some difference between these two. From Plantae itself or in case of Animalia, there will be changes from cell to tissue, tissue to organ, organ to organ system than whole organism. So this is more complicated in case of kingdom Animalia, in which there will be a proper distinction or proper differentiation of tissue, organ, organ system. Fine. So in the below one there will be a only cellular level. Now the mode of nutrition. Mode of nutrition, how they are taking nutrition. In case of Monera, as we have done, that it may be autotrophic or it may be heterotrophic. Fine. In the another lecture, we will come to know that how the autotrophic mode of nutrition again divided into two parts, photosynthetic as well as chemosynthetic. Fine. And here maybe sometimes it will be the heterotrophic mode of nutrition. While in case of protista, what will happen? The mode of nutrition can be auto as well as hetero. Example is what? Euglena, as we have done. The third one, the kingdom is fungi. Fungi is what? It's a heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Fine. What type of mode of nutrition? Heterotrophic mode of nutrition. And in case of plantain, what type of mode of nutrition? Autotrophic mode of nutrition. But in case of Animalia, again there will be heterotrophic mode of nutrition. So there is one change as we have discussed. Heterotrophic, what type of heterotrophic? Saprophytic. And in case of animal, it can be it may be the what? It can be sometimes saprophytic, and most of it's a holozoic mode of nutrition. Fine. So today we have covered the first topic, and in the later one we will cover the different character of each and every kingdom. Clear? So that's all for today. Thank you.